Alrighty, we're going to add an outlet for the TV set here so that it's on a switched outlet so we can turn it off and turn off all the things that are plugged into it, like the DVD player or VCR or a Blu-ray player or a cable box, so that it's not using power when we don't need it. And we're going to use what's called MC cable, and we're going to put it on the wall. Here in the country I was born in, we use a 12 American wire gauge on 20 amps. Black is live, white is neutral, the bare or the green is the ground. Red and blue are also live colors. However, you may find white live in a switch loop or a 220, 240 volt circuit where the appliance does not require a neutral. So this is a 110, 120 volt circuit, and we're just adding it from an exit light that's on all the time. This is like a clubhouse, so we are fixing it up. I like helping this landlord out. He has a very good reputation around town. He has very nice apartments. He takes good care of his tenants, and it's a joy to help him out and make some YouTube videos. So we're going to start putting the circuit in for the TV to be plugged into. So first we'll cut the piece that's going to go up in our exit light here. So we'll just cut it with our hacksaw here. Just cut through the cable and not into the conductors underneath, so you have to be kind of careful. We'll bend it over like that, pop it off like that. Now we have a sharp edge here, so we're going to cut that sharp edge off. We can cut this sharp edge off with our side cutters here like that. So now we don't have a sharp edge that could poke into our wires. And what we have to put in is called an anti-short bushing. Okay, so we will take our red anti-short bushing. We'll put it into our cable like this. Push it down in. So that way our wires are protected from the sharp edges of the MC cable. And if you want, you can take a little bit of electrical tape and just tape it down into place here, just to give it a little extra support so it stays in place. You don't have to, but I like to use the tape to protect the wires. Okay, so now we'll pop our exit light off and go inside there to mount our wire. So we'll unscrew our exit light from the box. So we'll unhook our wires one at a time here. pull our white wire back so it doesn't touch our hot wire. Won't go through and twirl it like that, so I'll just bring it back like this. Bring it up near the top here. Pull my white wire back. Now I can undo the black wire. And open up our knockout over here. This is our MC cable clamp here. Make sure it's in there nice and tight. Push it in all the way. Now we can start fastening our cable down. Straight off of my box. Here. You know what? You don't curse. You don't get frustrated. Just grab another one. If you lose it, if you don't find it, guess what? You don't find it. So forget about it. to move this one back a little bit. Okay, so we'll cut our cable here. Just run it down like this. So this will be for our switch here. So we'll cut it here. Gotta be careful so you don't cut into the wires. Here we go. We'll just rock it back and forth here a little bit. Break it off right there. Now we'll take our side cutters again like we did. And we'll just cut away our sharp edge. There we go. And now we can take another one of our anti-short bushings here and we'll put it in. This is called an anti-short bushing. Put it in. And I'll just push it down in here so that and we'll just push it down in here so that our wires are protected here. And again, we'll use some electrical tape to help hold it in place. here. Take a little electrical tape. The electrical tape helps hold the bushing in place. Okay, so we have our cable here. We'll put our MC cable connector on here. This is the box we're going to put a switch into, so we'll open up our knockout here. Down. And we'll put our other one on here to go to our outlet. So I'll put our cable in here like this. Make sure it's down in all the way. And we'll put it on here so it's nice and straight with our wall. And the cable comes in nice and neatly. We'll use a couple good longer screws here so we get our box nice and solid on our wall here. Well, if it's going to hop like a bunny, we're not going to frustrate, we're not going to carry on. We'll just use a shorter screw. We'll take this one out because it's not meant to be. We're going to have to take this one out. We'll just have to get a longer bit. try a different longer screw here. And so it goes into the wood. And we'll put it right here. Doesn't look like it wants to cooperate, so we're not going to fight it. We're just going to accept it. Well, if I can't find it, it'll just get swept up and thrown away, and I won't get frustrated over it. It'll just get thrown away. Time. If it doesn't go, it's not going to go. Very close. Well, we're going to just take it out and throw it away. We don't get frustrated. And that screw is hitting something metal, so we are not having luck with screws. So we are just going to throw those screws away. We will just throw them as far as the east is from the west and forget them. Because I don't want anything to do with stuff that doesn't go right. Because you know what? If you let that bother you, if you let things that don't go right bother you, they're going to win. But you throw them away, get rid of them, and don't let it bother you. If it doesn't go, it doesn't go. If something does not go, you don't fight it, you don't frustrate with it. Just accept the fact it's not going to go, and you don't worry about it. Just don't bother with it. Forget it. Leave it behind. It's not going to go. We got a couple other screws for the box, so if they go, guess what? We'll be thankful. If they don't go, we're not going to bother. We're going to just use the shorter screws and be thankful. Amen? You don't let anything bother you. So we'll try another screw. Just try another one. And don't miss the moment if it doesn't go. Doesn't look like it's going to cooperate, so we'll try a different bit. That bit is garbage. Okay, so I just got a brand new bit. Wow, that looks nice and promising. There, we got a nice solid fit there. We'll try to get one more up here. We're using a nice long screw, so our box is nice and solid here. sometimes just backing out and going in again makes it go in nice and tight. Okay, we got it on there nice and tight. Okay, so we'll cut another piece to go from our switch over to our outlet. We'll just break it off like that. We'll cut off our little sharp edge here so we don't puncture the wires. We'll put our anti-short bushing in here like this so we don't damage our wires. If it doesn't go, you don't frustrate, you just force it, it will go. Have to push on a sharp edge to make it go in a little bit. But it doesn't seem like it wants to go in. But we're not going to carry on about it. We're not going to frustrate. Just make our circle a little bit more circle here. If it doesn't go, it doesn't go. Can't change it. Don't fight it. Just accept the facts. Just accept the fact it's not going to fit. But you do have to make it go in. No matter how hard you have to force it, you have to have a BX cable bushing in here to protect the wire from the sharp edges. So no matter how much you have to force it and play with it, you just put it in. Just put it in. With a little force, it's going to go. And you don't complain. I might have to twist this cable to open it up a little bit. See, I spread my cable open a little bit. And see how my bushing went down in the way it should be. And I'll just take and put some tape on here so it doesn't come out. Okay, so let's see if we put our outlet right here. So we'll go in. Okay, so we'll cut it about right here for our outlet. Be careful not to cut the conductors, so we'll just pop it off like that and just pull it out like this. And we'll take our cutters. We have a sharp edge here that could poke through, so we'll just clip that off there. Let's stick our bushing in here again. Same as we did our other end. Hey, it went down in nice and easy this time. And we'll just tape it in place here. Now the electrical tape you don't have to do, but I like to do it just to hold that bushing in place so we don't have a problem with it in the future. So I'll put our other end in here for our light switch. This will turn on and off the outlet. Push it in so it's in all the way. It's in there nice and tight. So now we're ready to wire our switch box. Okay, now we can wire our switch box here. We have to put a green screw in here to bond our ground wire to the box. So we're going to get a piece to bond to our box, piece to bond to our switch. We'll make a loop to go around our green screw here. You always put it around the screw the direction the screw turns, so we get it back in here like this. Close our loop. Bond our ground wire to the box. Make sure it's tight. And we'll bring our ground wires down like this. We'll clip them so they're all fairly about the same length here. Okay, so we'll get our insulation all even at the bottom here. Get our first two started. Get our third one in here. Get the insulation even at the bottom. Get them started. Get our fourth one on here. Get our insulation even at the top. Twist it in so it goes in nice and even. So we'll cut them all even with the shortest one there. I'll look and make sure we have all our insulation even at the bottom and our 4 coppers are even at the end here. And we'll take our wire nut and we'll just twist it on here. Now I'll hold my tail wire here so it doesn't move. We'll put our ground wire down in the bottom here. And back out of our way here. Now we'll get our 2 white wires together here. Clip them, strip them. We're going to use a yellow wire nut on the whites. Get the insulation even at the top here. Make sure I get a nice even twist. I'll clip them so they're even on the end with the shortest one like that. Take my wire nut on, see the insulation going to the bottom of the wire nut. And we'll just twist it on nice and tight. Get it nice and tight like that. And now we can fold it back into our box. Let's see, where do we want to get them? I want to get them back into here. I'm going to fold them so that it goes up underneath here. I want to keep them out of the way here. If I can, but if I can't, I can't, and I won't. But if it will, it will, and it happened to go in. So now we are ready to hook our black wires up to our light switch. And we'll put our... Okay, so on our switch here in the country I was born in, up is on, down is off. But if your switch is upside down, it will say no, and that's how you know your switch is upside down. So we'll put our ground wire around our green screw here. Close our loop the direction our screw turns. There we go. The head's a little smaller than the screw, so it is what it is. So let's put our two black wires onto our switch. I mean, the head is bigger around than the diameter of the wire, but it's the best it can be, and it is what it is. So we'll put our black wire around. It doesn't matter, it's a single pole switch, so it doesn't matter which terminal you put the two wires on. Make sure it's nice and tight and we have a good connection like that. And we'll get our black wire, our other one, on the top screw. Close our loop the direction the screw turns. There we go, that's what we want. Now we're going to have to put a shorter screw up here so we don't hit the back of our connector there. So I'll bring the camera up close so you can see. Okay, so now we'll get our outlet box ready to go. So we'll open up a knockout here. We'll put our wire into our box here. Get our cable up into our box. We have to put a green screw in the back of our box here because we have to bond our ground wire to the box. So I'll get our, I'll have to take a little more off. And we will close our loop direction, our screw turns here. Like that there. Now we can hook our outlet up. Here in the country I was born in, our outlets are polarized. Take off about an inch. Okay, the black is the live wire. The white is the neutral. And the green, or the bare wire, is the ground. It goes on this green screw. So the white goes on the silver colored screw, which is the wide slot. The black wire goes on the brass screw, which is the narrow slot. So the black wire here goes on this brass screw, which is the narrow slot. The white wire goes on the silver screw here. And we're going to close the one we're not using. And it's the wider slot. And of course the ground wire goes on the green screw. So we'll hook our black one up first. Always put your wire around the screw, the direction the screw turns. Make sure it's nice and tight and you have a good solid connection like that. I'll flip it around this way. Get our white up here on the silver colored screw. White goes on the silver screw like this, and we'll put our bare ground wire around our green screw. So we'll go down like this, and then back like that to fold our wires into our box. We'll put our ground wire on the green screw. Close our loop the direction our screw turns. And we'll tighten this up. And that's how to wire an outlet here in the country I was born in. So now we'll get this ready to put on our wall. Okay, now we can get our switch folded into our box here. So we'll put it in like this. Push this one up. Pushing this one over a little bit more so it's out of the way of everything here. Push our ground wire over. Just pushing on the ground wire to push it over so it's out of the way of everything here. Put our longer screw down here where there's no wires in our way. I'm just going to look, make sure nothing is forced anywhere. I'll grab my flashlight here and look, make sure nothing is mashed or forced anywhere. I'll just push this black wire back down. So we are all good. Our screws aren't hitting anything. Okay, so we can get this box screwed onto our wall here. Get it going nice and straight here. Back. Inside of everything. If we have sheetrock to screw into, you know what? We'll just be thankful for it. Amen. We're not going to piss and moan and complain because it's not going to change anything. So if we hit something, we hit something. There's something that hit. Put our box right here. TV. Now we can push our outlet back into our box. Now keep this ground wire folded over this way so it stays away from everything. And we'll just push it in like this. Get it into our box, make sure our wires aren't going to push against anything. This one's not going to hit any wires over here. And I'll finish that by hand. I'll use my screw cutter to make it shorter because we have the cable where the wire goes in there. So we don't hit the wires. Well, we're not frustrating. We're going to throw that away. Get rid of it. Don't let it bother you. Okay, I found a shorter 632 screw to put in here so we don't hit the wires. And I'll make sure our box is nice and tight here. And we'll finish off by putting a cover on it. I'll put a clamp over here in the middle. Okay, now we'll get a couple more clamps on here to finish this up so it's good. And we'll try one more here. Okay, our cable's all nice and secure. Okay, so we'll get our green wire off our ground screw here. So this is bonding to our box again. Make the loop the direction our screw turns. Put it around our green screw here. Close your loop the direction the screw turns. Make sure our insulation is not caught under our screw head, which it isn't. And we'll get our white, our green, and our black. So we'll get all our ground wires together here. First, to get our insulation even at the bottom here, we'll twist them. Get our third one in here. Get the insulation even at the bottom. Clip them so they're even. And we'll put our wire nut on. So that is our earth ground here. And we'll just get it tucked back into our box, get it out of our way. Now we'll get our whites together here, and we'll make a tail to go to our exit light. Okay, so we'll get our tail here. So I'll get our insulation even at the top there. Twist them so they're even. Bring our third one in. I'll clip them so they're even with the shortest one. Now I'll hold the tail so that the wires stay even inside the wire knot. Okay, so we'll get our white wires back into our box here and back out of our way. Get our insulation even at the bottom here. Get our third one in here, get our insulation even at the top there. Wrap it in so it goes in nice and even. We'll clip it so it's even with the shortest one. We'll get our wire nut. Make sure our insulation goes into the bottom of our wire nut. Then we can push our wires back into our box. And we'll put our wires into our box. And we'll fold them up here out of the way so that when we put our screws to hold our exit light in, our screws don't hit the wires. So now we're ready to hook our exit light back up. Okay, so we'll clip our wires here a little bit shorter because they don't have to be this long. So we'll get our black back onto our black wire like this. We're going to make sure our wires are the same. I'll strip these a little bit. I'm going to clip the tin piece off, and I'll strip back to we'll get the stranded wire here. And we'll get our insulation even at the bottom. We'll take our strands, we'll wrap it around the solid wire like this. Get the copper even at the top and the insulation even at the bottom like that. And we'll put our wire nut on, let the insulation go into the bottom of the wire nut. And we'll fold it so that goes facing up like that. It's out of our way. And we'll do the same with our white wire. I'll clip our mutilated tin end off here. Strip it back some. And we'll get our insulation even at the bottom like this. Bring our strands out and bring them down like that. Wrap our strands around solid wire. Get the copper even at the top and our insulation even at the bottom. Put our wire nut on. We'll just make sure insulation is going into the bottom of the wire nut. Make sure it's nice and tight and our insulation is up in there, which it is tight, and we'll put it in like this. Our insulation is up inside the black. This red one is for universal voltage if you hook it up for 277, but we're not using 277, so let's make sure all our wires are back out of the way there. And now we can stick our exit light cover back on. Goes on like this. And it just put on the top two little tabs first and bring it down. Okay, I'll make sure it's snapped in all the way around, and that is what we want. I see something in here. It looks like some paper fell in. Okay, it's just the sticker for the 120 277 volt sticker, so I'll just stick that in the back there. Make sure our wires are in all the way around. And we'll just stick it up on there like this, make sure it's in. There, now that tag is back out of the way and it looks nice. Alrighty, so we'll just finish off by putting the cover on our light switch here. Let's see if we have a few more of these wire molds, or not wire mold, MC cable straps. We'll put a few of them on to finish it up. Well, it's nice. We do have a few others, a few more, so we'll stick a couple more on here. You see that it's nicely finished. And we'll stick them back here. And we'll stick another one here in the middle here. And we'll see if we can get one more. We'll try to get one more up by the top here. Nah, we don't need one up there. And this switch will turn on and off the outlet there. Peace. Thanks for watching. That is how to wire a outlet with MC cable and a light switch here in the country I was born in.